Hi. So, the most common reasons for a board to discipline a counselor, according to Virginia State Board of Counseling, in the list that they had provided, was fraudulent billing and dual relationships. Um, what are some of the themes and most common reasons? So the themes that I saw, especially within fraudulent billing, was just the counselor simply lying about the client session and falsely writing documentation for the purpose of billing, and as well as just claiming that they were providing services for a client who was not in attendance for their session and did not receive the services. I also saw a common theme within these cases with the credentials of the individuals who committed these violations. And the credential was registered qualified mental health professionals. And so one of the cases that I would like to share that struck me the most, and the most recent case, was a licensed professional counselor who was romantically involved with her client. So when they first started their therapeutic relationship, the counselor was not establishing boundaries, which ultimately led to a more personal relationship and then a romantic relationship. The client that was involved was not emotionally or mentally stable. They were working through conditions of PTSD, depression, and was highly suicidal. And throughout the counseling relationship, as their romantic relationship started to grow, the counselor made a decision to terminate the therapeutic relationship. And this did not refer the client to another counselor, which ultimately led to the discontinuance of any counseling services that the client was in need of. And so throughout the months of their newfound romantic relationship, the former counselor was not attentive to the client's needs romantically or emotionally, and was neglecting the client's need for emotional security within the romantic relationship, which ultimately led to the client committing suicide out of fear of losing her partner, which was the counselor. And so the ACA Code of Ethics that were violated was A5A, which talks about sexual and romantic relationships being strictly prohibited within the therapeutic relationship. And the state code violations were how the counselor did not make any arrangements for continuation of services for the client once their therapeutic relationship was terminated. How also they were engaged in a romantic relationship that is highly unethical and was violated, as well as intentional or negligent conduct that causes or is likely to cause injury to the client. Like I said, the counselor neglected the client's need for counseling services, as well as their emotional needs within their romantic relationship, which led to the client killing herself. And the outcome of the board discipline, the board ordered that the counselor license be suspended. And what Code of Ethics say about counselor impairment? Basically saying that the counselors are responsible for their self-awareness and are to monitor any signs of physical, mental, or emotional problems. And if they do get any signs that may hinder their performance as a counselor, that they are responsible for suspending and terminating their professional responsibilities until it is determined that they may safely resume back to their work. And so one of the questions that come to mind when I think about this case was, why wasn't the license revoked from the counselor? Why was it only just suspended, especially at the hands of at the expense of someone's death? And Also, since this is a permanent stain to her professional record, what are some things that she can practice within her profession to kind of keep this record from overshadowing her work and her counseling skills? Is there any way for her to recover from this instance? So, yep, that's my questions.